Title: My girlfriend cheated on me with my dad, and now they want me to be the best man at their wedding. Part 1/3. Alright, internet strangers, buckle up. This is one of those stories that you read and think, no way this actually happened, and honestly, I wish I could say that too. But here I am, living in the middle of what feels like a deleted subplot from Jerry Springer. Some quick background so you understand the absurdity. I'm 28M. My, now very ex-girlfriend Emily is 27F. My dad Rick is 55M. My parents divorced when I was 16 after a long, slow-motion train wreck of a marriage. They were one of those couples that you could feel hated each other just from being in the same room. Dad moved out, got an apartment, then eventually bought this small two-bedroom house in the suburbs where he's been living the single guy life ever since. Dad has always been, well, Rick. The kind of man who wears cologne that could knock out a horse, rides a motorcycle he's way too proud of, and thinks women under 30 still find I play guitar inherently impressive. He's not a bad dad in the traditional sense. He showed up to my soccer games, taught me how to change my oil, but he's never really been the warm, emotionally connected type. He's more of a slap you on the back and tell you to walk it off kind of guy. Enter Emily. We met at a friend's birthday party 4 years ago. She was funny, smart, gorgeous, the whole cliché. We started dating seriously about 6 months in. By the 1-year mark, we were living together in this little 2-bedroom apartment downtown. Emily has this energy that makes people want to be around her. She's that person who makes friends with the bartender in 5 minutes and somehow gets the recipe for their secret house cocktail by the end of the night. The first couple years were great. We traveled together, adopted a cat, did all the future-building stuff. I really thought we were heading toward marriage, kids, the whole package. She got along with my mom fine, and when she met my dad, they seemed to click too, but in the way you'd expect. She laughed at his cheesy jokes, he offered to help her with her car trouble, whatever. I never saw anything weird. Fast forward to June of this year. It's a Saturday. Emily tells me she's going to help her friend Jenna move. Totally normal. We were both a little hungover from a friend's rooftop party the night before, so I wasn't planning on doing much. Around noon, I get a text from my dad. New grill's all set up. You should come over and help me test it out. Normally I'd just blow that off, but I was craving a burger, and the idea of mooching off Dad's food without having to cook myself sounded pretty good. I drove over around 2 p.m. Here's where I made the biggest mistake of my life. I didn't knock. We have this informal, family just walks in thing, especially because Dad's never been super uptight about privacy. So I open the door, walk in, and I'm greeted by the single most brain-melting sight of my life. Emily. My girlfriend. And my dad. Half naked. Definitely not discussing grill recipes. For a split second, my brain short-circuited. I think I literally froze with my hand still on the doorknob. Then my mouth caught up to my brain. Me, what the F? Emily, jumping off the couch, it's not what it looks like. Dad, son, let's. Me, not what it looks like? What, is this some kind of CPR class? I didn't stick around for explanations. I backed out, slammed the door so hard the frame rattled, and got in my car. I don't even remember the drive home. My hands were shaking so badly that when I parked, I just sat there for half an hour staring at the steering wheel, trying not to throw up. The next 48 hours were a blur. Emily blew up my phone with calls and texts. I blocked her. She showed up at my apartment crying, begging me to just let her explain. I didn't. Dad texted me the next morning with, "Let's talk." Man to man. I think that text made me angrier than anything else. Man to man? Like we were two bros who accidentally hooked up with the same Tinder date, not a father and son where he just crossed one of the most insane boundaries possible. I spent the summer avoiding them both. Slept on my buddy Alex's couch for a few weeks because being in the apartment I shared with Emily felt like living inside a crime scene. I drowned myself in work, beer, and bad takeout. I thought about therapy, then decided I couldn't even begin to explain this to a stranger without sounding like I was trolling. And then, last week, out of nowhere, I get a text from a number I don't recognize. "Hey, it's Emily. I know you probably hate me, but I need to tell you something important." Against every shred of self-preservation, I replied, "What?" She asked if we could meet for coffee. I said no. Then she sent me a photo. My dad. At some fancy restaurant, clearly dressed up. She's showing off a ring the size of a marble. The caption: "We're engaged. And we'd really like you to be the best man." I honestly thought it was a joke. I even laughed for a second, like an actual laugh, before realizing she was dead serious. Then I felt this weird combination of rage, disbelief, and almost amusement. Like, what level of delusion do you have to be operating on to think that would be a reasonable request? They want me to stand up at the altar, smile for photos, give a heartfelt speech, and watch my former girlfriend, the woman I thought I'd marry, say vows to my father. I haven't answered yet. I've been sitting with my phone in my hand, rereading the text, trying to decide between ghosting them until I'm legally declared missing, showing up and delivering the most savage best man speech in history, saying yes purely to see what kind of freak show of a guest list turns up. Whatever happens, I feel like I'm standing at the edge of a cliff, and part 2 is going to be the fall. To be continued. Title: My girlfriend cheated on me with my dad, and now they want me to be the best man at their wedding. Part 2/3. If you read part 1, you know the setup. If you didn't, the TLDR is, I caught my girlfriend of 4 years hooking up with my dad, went full no contact, then months later they texted me saying they're engaged and want me to be the best man. So yeah, let's talk about what happened after I got that text. I didn't reply for 3 days. Every time I looked at my phone, my stomach did that weird roller coaster drop. I'd type, "You've both lost your minds," into the text box, stare at it, then delete it. Part of me wanted to ignore them forever, but another part of me, the messy, rubbernecking at a car crash part, needed to know why they thought this was okay. On day 4, I finally texted back. "Sure. Let's talk. But not at my place, not at Dad's. Neutral ground." We ended up meeting at this awful chain family restaurant halfway between our houses. The kind of place with sticky menus and waiters who look like they've seen too much. I got there early, sat in a booth with my coffee, and rehearsed the calm, adult conversation I was going to have. Then they walked in. Emily looked exactly the same as the day I met her, smile that could win awards, hair done just right. She was wearing a light blue dress that I swear I'd seen her wear on a date with me. Dad, meanwhile, was in his casual nice mode, jeans, leather jacket, way too much cologne. I could smell him before he got to the table. "Dad, hey, son." Emily, "Hi, thanks for agreeing to meet." I didn't answer right away. Just sipped my coffee and waited. Dad jumped right in. "So, we know this is unusual. But Emily and I are in love. It happened unexpectedly, but it's real." I stared at him. "You're telling me the woman I was living with and planning to marry just fell into your lap by accident?" "Emily, it wasn't like that. We connected after things between us started getting distant." "Me, things got distant because you were screwing my dad, Emily." She flinched, but kept going. "Look, I know it was wrong how it started. I'll never be able to change that. But what we have now, it's real, and we want to move forward. We want your blessing." I almost laughed. "Blessing? You two are lucky I'm not throwing a drink in your faces right now." Dad leaned in like we were sharing a secret. "We want you to be the best man. I think it would show everyone that there's no bad blood." I blinked at him. "You think me standing next to you while you marry my ex will send a message of family unity?" "Dad, exactly." I don't know if it was the absurdity or the fact that the waitress came over right then asking about appetizers, but I started laughing. Not a polite chuckle, an uncontrollable, can't catch my breath laugh. They both just stared at me. Emily, so, is that a yes? I wiped my eyes. That's a, you're out of your damn minds. But sure, tell me more. I'm curious how you plan to sell this to Grandma. They exchanged a look. Turns out, most of my dad's side of the family doesn't even know they were together yet. They were hoping that my presence at the wedding would smooth things over and make it less awkward. I told them I'd think about it, mostly because I wanted time to decide how much chaos I was willing to unleash. Here's where it gets weirder. 2 nights later, I get a call from my mom. She's been divorced from Dad for over a decade, and she lives 2 states away. She's laughing so hard she can barely talk. Mom, so, your father and Emily? Me, you know? Mom, honey, everyone knows. Your aunt saw them at the farmer's market holding hands. Then your cousin posted that engagement dinner photo on Facebook. She wasn't calling to comfort me, she was calling because she was entertained. Honestly, if you do this best man thing, you could make it the most awkward wedding in history. Think about the stories you could tell in your speech. So now I had 2 parents encouraging me to participate, but for completely different reasons. A week later, I got an email. Formal. Like, dear, my name, formal. It was from Emily. She attached the wedding itinerary. Ceremony on a beach. Small guest list, around 40 people. Dinner at some boutique hotel afterwards. My name was literally printed in the program as, Best Man, Me. I don't know why, but seeing it in writing made it feel like this was actually going to happen. And some deep, unhinged part of me thought, maybe I should do it. I pictured myself giving a speech. Thanking my dad for teaching me about love, and boundaries, or lack thereof. Talking about how Emily has been a part of my life in so many ways. Casually mentioning that I used to live with the bride. The temptation was unreal. But there was also this quiet, aching part of me that just wanted to walk away and never look back. Every memory of Emily, our trips, our cat, the little dumb inside jokes, was now tangled up with him. And the thought of standing there, smiling like none of it mattered, it made me feel sick. Last night, I told them I'd give them my answer in a week. And that's where I am now, stuck between petty chaos and self-preservation. Part of me wants to burn the whole thing down with the most legendary best man speech Reddit has ever heard. Another part of me wants to delete their numbers, change mine, and pretend neither of them exist. Either way, this wedding is happening. And I've got 7 days to decide whether I'm standing at the altar or watching from very, very far away. To be continued. Title: My girlfriend cheated on me with my dad, and now they want me to be the best man at their wedding. Part 3/3. I said yes. Yeah, I know. Half of you are probably facepalming right now. But hear me out. If I said no, they'd spin it like I was being immature or holding on to the past. If I said yes, I'd get the mic. And in my hands, that's a dangerous thing. Plus, Mom said she'd fly in just to watch me blow the whole thing up. So here I am, 3 months later, walking up the beach to this makeshift wedding setup like it's some kind of low-budget rom-com. White folding chairs, an arch wrapped in fake flowers, the smell of sunscreen and cheap champagne in the air. Emily sees me first. She looks, well, like a bride. And I hate that it still hits me in the chest for a second. Dad's in a beige suit, looking smug like he's starring in his own cologne ad. When they see me in the best man sash my cousin made as a joke, yes, I wore it, they both freeze for half a second. Ceremony starts. The officiant does the whole love is patient, love is kind thing, which is hilarious considering the circumstances. I'm standing there, a literal third wheel in the most public way possible, feeling every eye on me. When it's time for the vows, Emily says, I never expected to find love where I did. No kidding. Dad says, Emily makes me feel young again. Which, given the age gap, I almost snort at. Then, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Cue polite applause, awkward glances from my side of the family, and one loud, "What the hell?" from a distant uncle who clearly wasn't in the loop. Reception time. This is it. My moment. The DJ announces, "Best man, please make your way up for the speech." I stand up, take the mic, and look out at a crowd of people who are either very confused or very entertained. Hi everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Naeem, the groom's son, and, up until about a year ago, the bride's boyfriend. You could hear the air get sucked out of the tent. Someone dropped a fork. Mom covered her mouth, trying not to cackle. I know what you're thinking, that's unusual. And you're right. But love works in mysterious ways. Sometimes it's about fate, destiny, and sometimes it's about running into your son's girlfriend at the fridge at 2 a.m. Dad is staring at me like he's trying to telepathically tell me to stop. Emily's smile is frozen in place. I keep going. I could stand here and tell you I'm happy for them. That I've moved on. That I wish them the best. And, parts of that are even true. But here's the thing, life doesn't always tie things up in a neat little bow. Sometimes you just have to laugh, shake your head, and remember that one day, this whole thing will be an incredible Reddit post. Half the crowd laughs nervously. The other half looks like they just saw a ghost. I finish with, "So, to Dad and Emily, may your love be strong, your Wi-Fi signal stronger, and may you never, ever accidentally text me anything, ever again. Cheers." Glasses clink. The DJ puts music on. I walk off, hand Mom the mic, and she's practically crying with pride. After that, I spent most of the night talking to relatives who had no idea this was the situation until my speech. One aunt told me it was the most entertaining wedding she'd ever been to. My cousin tried to high-five me 3 times. Dad didn't say much, but Emily pulled me aside before I left. She said, "That was cruel." I said, "Yeah, so was what you did to me." And then I left. It's been 2 weeks since the wedding. I've gone full no contact again, and honestly, I feel lighter. I thought the speech would be my revenge, but it turns out the real win is just being free of both of them. I adopted a dog. I've started dating again, nothing serious yet, but it's nice to feel wanted without the constant paranoia. And yeah, I did post this whole saga on Reddit, because if I had to live through it, the internet might as well enjoy it. So that's it. My girlfriend cheated on me with my dad, they got married, I was the best man, and I made sure they'll never forget it. And judging by the DMs I'm getting right now, neither will Reddit.